So, guys, some news on new dates that have been set for fights, and one of the first of them is the new date for Keith Thurman and Shawn Porter. It has been announced on June 25th that they will actually square off for Thurman's WBA welterweight title. Again, I'm not going to go into the fight in too much detail here. Yeah, it's good that they're actually squaring off. They haven't just totally forgot about the fight. And as I said before, I think Shawn Porter will win due to his style. Don't really think Thurman likes it being tight at the weight to the body. He got hurt by Collazo, who's not a big puncher. So I'm not saying Porter's sophisticated whatsoever, but he was pretty decent against Broner, even though Broner was low output. But yeah, I'd expect him to go on and win that fight. So that's a new date set for that fight. New date set for Alexander Povetkin versus Deontay Wilder will be in May, I think, 21st, May 21st in Russia. As we know, Andrei Rybinski, the promoter of Alexander Povetkin, who's a very, very wealthy businessman, he won the purse bid for Povetkin Wilder, so it will be in Russia. Remains to be seen if the fight does go ahead and if Al Heyman does pull any funny tricks and gets Wilder a fight against the winner of Anthony Joshua and Charles Martin, or a potential Fury fight. But as it stands, he will face Povetkin, and yeah, it looks like a decent fight. I mean, this is a fantastic scrapper for the heavyweight division. As I said, I think Deontay Wilder is just a bit is defensively not a bit, but he's very defensively flawed. He does silly things in the ring, and it could allow for someone like Povetkin to catch him. Povetkin has dynamite in both of his hands, so definitely I could see Povetkin winning a late stoppage here. Um, but I wouldn't don't be surprised if Deontay Wilder wins a decision. It would be a bit harder being in Russia also, but I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if Deontay Wilder wins a decision over Povetkin. So yeah, it's a really interesting fight. It's what you like of both fighters. I know people say Deontay Wilder's chin is pretty, dodgy, but he did take some solid shots in his last few fights and against Stiverne. Of course, I know that Stiverne wasn't the best version of himself, but he did take some shots, and he didn't wobble significantly. I know against Molina he did, but for me, if he fights like he did against Stiverne, he has a chance. If he fights like he did against Spilka, I don't give him any chance whatsoever. I think he'll get knocked out. But it depends what Wilder turns up. To be fair, so we'll wait and see. It's still a fair while away, but yeah, it looks like an interesting fight. Third fight that has a date is Victor Ortiz versus Andre Berto, April 30th. Looks like a decent little card with Errol Spence. I think Chris Algieri is on that card as well, both of them facing off. And a fair few others. Marcus Brown, who's an American Olympian, he's facing undefeated guy, another undefeated guy at light heavyweight. So it's a decent little card. Looking forward to that. Also also a barnstormer potentially with Ortiz and Berto. Their first fight, I think, was in 2011. Fantastic fight, really, really good fight. Ortiz relieved Berto of his WBC welterweight title, who subsequently went on to lose his title to Floyd Mayweather. Uh, Berto's last fight was against Mayweather, incidentally, in September. Obviously, he lost a massive points decision, probably got scored on the cards. Uh, watched the fight. Yeah, I'd say he probably lost 12-0, 11-1. But yeah, obviously that's irrelevant. And this fight will be a good fight. Could be even a final eliminator for one of the belts. It's a decent fight between two decent contenders. Aside from the top 10, there's not many solid fighters or top level fighters outside the top 10 at welterweight. So it'd be good to get some more people in the mix who've been there or thereabouts, and get them in. Chris Algieri's in the mix. He's outside the top 10. Jesse Vargas has won a world title. Saddam Ali will come back. So there's plenty of fighters there. Errol Spence obviously facing Algeria. So there's a lot of fighters there, and it always makes for a good division if you have the top fighters squaring off. Also, there's a card presented by Showtime sometime soon. Didn't see the date, but it has Badu Jack versus Lucian Bute on that. James DeGale facing his mandatory Rogelio Medina. Uzcategui pulled out, and Chavez Jr. pulled out on Jack. So obviously the clauses in the contracts are that if should they win both their fights, they will square off in a unification match. Fantastic news for the super middleweight division. I mean, super middleweight is quite bland at the moment. I mean, Chudinov's just lost his belt to Felix Sturm. De Carolis is regular champion, but he hasn't faced anyone since being Fagan Boots. Obviously, DeGale's facing Medina. Arthur Abraham is actually facing Gilberto Ramirez, his mandatory on the Timothy Bradley and Manny Pacquiao undercard. So you want some sort of life injected into the super middleweight division. You got Callum Smith there as well, high up in the WBC rankings, who's got a final eliminator against Hedilla Mohammadi over here in Liverpool very soon. And yeah, I mean, who are George Groves is coming back into the mix. Martin Murray's still there or thereabouts. Rocky Fielding could come back with a decent win against Christopher Abrase. So there is decent UK people coming in the mix, and it will make the division ever so much better. If George Groves can pick up a world title, he could get unification with James DeGale, possibly Martin Murray. Martin Murray might even face Paul Smith. So we don't know who's there or thereabouts. They've got some decent. Jamie Cox is even there as well. So there's a lot of UK based fighters in the super middleweight mix, and potentially someone who could you know uh, win a big fight and go on to challenge one of the world champions. David Lemieux might even be at 168 pound suit. I heard he actually came in over the weight. He had a 163-pound catchweight fight against De La Rosa, the guy's name was, and he came in at 165.3. So he could even move up to super middleweight, and he's a big banger as we know. So you know, there's potential there. There's definitely potential, but at the moment, as the division stand is quite bland, and a unification is what it needs. Uh, get a clear number one, and get people challenging. As Andre Ward's moved up, and he'll face Sullivan Barrera next at light heavyweight, which is another good fight. And yeah, you need something in the division. Carl Froch is gone now, so the big names have slowly faded away, either retired or they moved up or moved on. So someone needs to take authority in the division. I think James DeGale for me is the number one in the division. I put Arthur Abraham at number two just because of experience, and Barry Jack number three, and then then you can compile your list. You could have Andre Durrell possibly coming back as well if he doesn't fight at light heavyweight. Anthony Durrell's brother could also be in the mix as well. So is you need people in the mix to make interesting fights, and hopefully that can occur later on in the summer and in the autumn as well. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on any of the fights I've discussed, the new dates, Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, Povetkin, Wilder, even Andre Ward, Sullivan Barrera. Let me know your thoughts. Comment in the comment section. Please give the thumbs up if you enjoy the video. Subscribe, and yeah, share the video so it gets out to a larger boxing public. I've also hit 50 subscribers, so if you guys want to do a live stream, something like Boxing Gossip does, and get you guys to call in or to chat, and we can have a back and forth, and we can talk about the various amount of topics that go on in the boxing world day to day. Let me know if you would find that interesting. And yeah, PM me, tweet me, anything you find, any news, any interests, give me a shout. And yeah, take care, guys, and yeah, peace.